Madam President, on a separate topic of importance, for years this country has suffered from a uniquely American gun violence epidemic. On July the 13th, campaign rally attendees in Butler, Pennsylvania became the latest victims when a gunman attempted to assassinate former President Donald Trump. During the gunman's heinous shooting spree, he killed an innocent firefighter and injured 2 other people. But this assassination attempt has exposed more than just the continued threat of gun violence in America. It has also revealed unacceptable security failures in the operations of the United States Secret Service. Despite the implementation of a security plan to secure the rally site on July 13th, the shooter involved was able to fly a drone outside of the security perimeter for 11 minutes. His suspicious activity was reported twice, and he was spotted on the roof of a building prior to taking his first shot. Yet his violent plan continued unimpeded, and he was able to fire 8 shots before a Secret Service counter-sniper killed him. The implications are terrifying. When a mere 2 days after the shooting, the Secret Service needed to secure the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. And in less than a month, the Secret Service must secure the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, in our home state of Illinois. Between now and November 5th, Vice President Harris and former President Trump will hold countless political events with thousands of Americans across the country. The Secret Service will need to secure all of these major events, but the agency needs first to restore our trust in its ability to do so. The Senate Judiciary Committee, which I chair, has jurisdiction over the Secret Service and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I have worked closely with Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, the chair of the Homeland Security Committee, to organize a joint hearing tomorrow morning that will examine the security failures leading to the assassination attempt against former President Trump. During this hearing, we will hear from Acting U.S. Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe about the security failures on July 13th and what the Secret Service is doing to rectify those issues. We will also hear from FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate, who will provide an update on the FBI's investigation into the assassination attempt. This hearing follows a briefing the Secret Service and FBI provided to members of both committees last week. There are many questions which the American public deserves answers to, including, why was the shooter able to conduct a renaissance at the fairgrounds on the morning of the rally? How and when was he able to bring an assault rifle on the premises? Why was the building from where the gunman shot excluded from the Secret Service security perimeter, despite being within range of an AR-15, the most popular rifle in America? Why was the gunman able to conduct a reconnaissance and move about freely, even after being identified as a suspicious person, without any intervention by local or federal law enforcement until it was too late? What organizational and on-the-ground changes has the Secret Service implemented since this occurred to ensure better security in the future? Which of these changes were in place in time for the Republican National Convention, and which are still in the process of being implemented for future events such as Democratic National Convention? Madam President, you know that you and I share concerns about tens of thousands of people coming to our beloved city of Chicago. We want them to be safe every minute of every day. We want to make certain that the agencies, state, local, and federal law enforcement agencies, are doing the very best job. They have disclosed to both of us their plans, and it looks good on paper. My question is, what did you learn in Butler, Pennsylvania that is now being applied to the original plan to keep Chicago safe? I might also say the threat or promise of Governor Abbott to send thousands of migrants on buses into this convention center in the midst of all of the visitation that's taking place is irresponsible and mean-spirited. These people, and I've spoken to many of them coming off the buses from Texas, they're given promises there of jobs and accommodations and special treatment that just aren't realistic. They're doing what they can to protect their families, but they're doing it at the expense of the government and law enforcement in the region. When we're having the responsibility of a national convention, we can't afford to let such a thing occur without complaining and calling the attention of the Texas governor to the irresponsibility of this action. What challenge does the proliferation of weapons present to the Secret Service mission to protect current and former presidents, vice presidents, families, and major candidates moving forward. These are fundamental questions which will be asked tomorrow. There is an urgent need for bipartisan collaboration in Congress to provide these answers to the American people as soon as possible so that the Secret Service can begin to rebuild trust and more effectively fulfill its mission. The work has already begun, and tomorrow's joint hearing will help bring about transparency and accountability for Secret Service failures in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th. And I'll close by saying this. The hearing is a joint hearing of the two committees, and it is bipartisan. It has been from the start. There have been suggestions made on the floor here that there is some partisan angle to this. Partisanship has nothing to do with keeping our elected officials and those running for high office in a safe mode throughout their conduct. We've got to do this together, both parties, for the good of our nation. Political violence and vandalism is never, never acceptable. I yield the floor.